Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Iowa SourceLink and Iowa Department of Revenue webinar today on November 3rd, 2021. Happy to have you here with us this afternoon. As everyone's sort of getting loaded in, I'm going to do just a little bit of housekeeping, a few introductions, and then we will jump right into it. My name is Patrick Linsman, Senior Program Manager at the John Papa John Entrepreneurial Center at the University of Northern Iowa, and serve as one of the program managers for the Iowa SourceLink platform. Iowa SourceLink is a partnership program between you and I, the Iowa Economic Development Authority, where we try to provide Iowa small business owners with access to all sorts of resources, information, and connections to help them start and grow their small business. One of those things that we do here is we work with the Department of Revenue to provide webinars about all things taxes. And this is a very exciting one today. We're going to be talking about the new GovConnect Iowa Portal. A couple quick things. This webinar is recorded. It will be available to watch on the Iowa SourceLink website after the presentation today. The slides are going to be available for you in the chat for you to download and look at. For this one, the demo and the recording is going to be just as important as well. So be sure to be on the lookout after the fact for the recording for those that you want to share it with. If you have questions today, please enter them into the question and answer box. We've got 3 staff from the Department of Revenue today. They're going to be trying to help us answer some questions. Probably won't get to very many that we can answer live. We're going to have a lot of content to cover. So if we can, we're going to answer them through text. We're going to be saving the whole Q&A feed and being able to put together some guidance to answer your questions through there. So pretty good chance we won't get to your question today. Know that it's there, we've got it, and then we'll be able to answer it ideally as that information either becomes available or behind the scenes. So I think that's all of the housekeeping. It looks like we've got everybody loaded in. So once more, happy to have you all here with us to talk about GovConnect Iowa. I'm going to turn it over to our good friend Terry O'Neill to get us started.
Okay, thanks a lot, Patrick. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on the GovConnect Iowa Portal. My name is Terry O'Neill, and for those of you that have been to webinars before, I'm sure you've seen me. I'm a longtime taxpayer service specialist with the Iowa Department of Revenue. We have with us 2 co-facilitators for today, Emily Banks, who will be working behind the scenes and answering questions in the Q&A box, and Jerica Pellington. I want to thank both of them for joining us today. We've got a lot of information to share with you. I'd like to start out by saying that we are very excited about GovConnect Iowa. We are currently working on website updates and self-help tools to help you navigate through our new system. GovConnect Iowa will be the filing platform, not only for motor fuel, but withholding, sales and use, and other business tax types. Starting on November 15th, you'll be able to file and amend returns, register for and renew licenses, make payments, and manage account access online. Beginning in mid-November, a welcome letter will be sent to existing business customers with instructions on how to create a GovConnect Iowa login, your unique customer ID number, referred to as an IDR ID, and a unique access code. These will be necessary to register on GovConnect Iowa. We have been partnering with 3 other state agencies as well, which we will highlight here shortly to help spread the word about our new portal. There'll also be additional webinars and new tools available on our website to help with this new system. Additional information will be provided at the end of the webinar as to how you can ask questions and find more information. One thing to keep in mind, we'll be using the phrase rollout, and this may be a new term to you. Our rollout is an annual launch of tax types that the system will accommodate. So this is just rollout 1 that's coming up here shortly. Today we'll provide an overview of GovConnect Iowa. We're going to review the new online functionality and walk through a few demo exercises. If you have questions, please place them in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer those for you as best we can. If we're unable to respond to your questions during today's webinar, know that we are noting all questions and we will respond to the information as it is available. If you've ever been to one of our webinars before, you know one thing we always have to do is give you our disclaimer slide. And so that's what we have up here today. This is for all presentations that we give. So please take a minute and look at that. The big thing to remember here is this is for general educational purposes only, and information we provide here today is not binding on the department as far as taxability and anything along those lines. So please be aware of that. Again, something we do at all of our presentations. Today's demo is housed in a testing environment, and the data you're seeing is completely fictional. Any similarities to real data is purely coincidental. Okay, so just please keep that in mind. Now that we've got the housekeeping items out of the way, let's get started. I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jerica, and she is going to provide the information on today's GovConnect Iowa webinar. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Terry. Hello, everyone. My name is Jerica Pellington, and I am one of the dedicated GovConnect Iowa staff members, and I am excited to share with you information about our new system. So to get started here, I want to go back and talk about the modernization project. In October 2020, the Iowa Department of Revenue officially launched the modernization program with the goal of modernizing its technology and processes to better serve you as the Iowa taxpayer. This project implements an integrated tax system that will provide Iowa businesses and individuals increased access to data and the ability to view, register, file, and pay for more tax types online. Keep in mind that the modernization project is a 4-year effort to create and provide an integrated tax processing system that was designed using the principles shown on your screen. So those include customer-centric, self-service, collaboration, user-friendly, data analytics, and secure. So what is GovConnect Iowa? In a short summary, it is our new online eServices portal. The department has been partnering with 3 other state agencies throughout the development of GovConnect Iowa. Those partner agencies are Iowa Alcoholic Beverages Division, the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals, and Iowa Lottery Authority. Starting on November 15th, users will be able to access a variety of services online, such as applying for new licenses or completing renewal applications. GovConnect Iowa also offers customers the ability to manage all of their business tax accounts in one convenient location 24/7. This service includes filing returns, making payments, and secure messaging. So you will be able to get to our new site in different ways. You could access it by going directly to the Iowa Department of Revenue website or by using the new URL for GovConnect Iowa, which is visible at the bottom of your screen. While GovConnect Iowa is not available today, you will be able to access the full website starting on November 15th. On the screen here, you can see that GovConnect Iowa was designed following the 4 attributes that you're viewing right now. So the first one is that it's customer-centric. This means that it was created with the needs of our customers in mind. The second one is that it's user-friendly. So this means that it's meant to have intuitive navigation and be accessible 24/7. The third one is that it's secure. So the system is designed to protect user information. And lastly, it's updatable. As we move through the implementation phases, we will continue to expand available features, tax types, and the licenses available. With it being updatable, that means that we'll be able to easily change and keep up with the new technologies. Beginning on November 15th, GovConnect Iowa will serve business tax types. With our first implementation phase, here are the users who will benefit from using GovConnect Iowa. We have businesses with employees and businesses that sell taxable, tangible personal property, offer taxable services and specified digital products, Iowa lottery products, liquor, wine, beer, and more, and food products. Examples of those include grocery, liquor, and convenience stores. Think bars, restaurants, could even be the store down the street from your house. Those are just a few examples of who this service could be applied to. The examples that I mentioned are not an exclusive list. As a reminder, additional tax types will be implemented in the upcoming years, and they will serve a variety of taxpayers. For more information regarding future additions in the modernization project, you can head out to the Iowa Department of Revenue website. So IDR's modernization project will be completed in 4 phases. The first phase, which is what you'll be seeing today, is called Rollout 1, and they include these specific actions and tax types. So here we have business permit and license registration, income tax withholding, sales and use tax, along with the taxes and surcharges listed. You will also see water service excise tax and fuel tax are included in Rollout 1. As I mentioned earlier, IDR has partnered with 3 other state agencies when we developed GovConnect Iowa. While IDR is the primary user of GovConnect Iowa and we will have the most online functionality, this new system will allow other state agency users to apply and renew licenses, file for permits, and perform various other actions. With this group of initial users, the partnership between these 4 state agencies will improve the customer experience for business users. You'll notice that we have highlighted that partnership through the branding displayed throughout GovConnect Iowa, and you can also see those logos on the screen. So today we are going to take a look at the new features that are available on GovConnect Iowa and see how easy it is to complete the tasks that are listed on the screen. So the goal is to show you how the system was designed and again, how easy it is to complete these actions through GovConnect Iowa. We will be walking through the following processes and they may be referred to as scenarios during this webinar. So let's head to GovConnect Iowa and we will check it out. All right, so we are going to start on the home page. The screen that you're currently looking at is the initial screen that is GovConnect Iowa. When you access the link, whether it's through the department website or through govconnect.iowa.gov, this is the first screen that you will see. There are many actions that users can access from this page. We have some that require the user to create an account and log in, and we have others that do not. You'll notice that the user does have quite a few options available without being required to create an account. You'll see that the user can still file returns, make payments. They can request refund check replacements, request a penalty waiver. You'll notice that users even have the ability to respond to a letter they received from the Iowa Department of Revenue. You'll notice that these are dedicated areas that are based on common actions, such as tax policy. So here, the user would be able to view law and policy information or request tax guidance, which would reroute them back to our website, or they have the option to file petitions. It is important to note that GovConnect Iowa currently only supports the business tax types that we covered earlier. Available tax type functionality will be expanded as we continue with the modernization project. You'll see here under helpful resources that users will also be able to access self-help tools. These self-help tools will include step-by-step instructions, answering common Iowa tax questions, offering tips to help guide you through the system, and other educational resources. Our goal here is to provide you with materials that will make it easier to understand and navigate the new system. And lastly, you can see that non-logged in users can search for previous submissions in GovConnect Iowa. On November 15th, the department will begin mailing welcome letters to business users across the state of Iowa. This welcome letter will include instructions on how to create your new GovConnect Iowa account and also include important user-specific information. One thing to note is that we have been collaborating with those partner agencies on communication efforts to help spread the word about our new portal. And it's also important to know that our Taxpayer Services Phone Center has added a dedicated phone line for GovConnect Iowa assistance. So today we are going to focus primarily on the functions that require a user to create an account, log in, and then either register a new business or link to an existing account. For this example, the user is going to click the Create a Logon hyperlink. So this would allow the user to either proceed to register a new business or access an existing account. Today, we want to register a new business. Once the user has chosen what they need to do, now they're going to move forward to enter their personal information. So this next step includes entering their name, email address, and their phone number. Note the requirement here to confirm that email address before moving forward. This makes sure that we are capturing the correct email information because your email address is not only going to serve as the username for the account, but it's also going to allow the Iowa Department of Revenue to have a reliable way of contacting taxpayers and notifying them of upcoming due dates, filing and payment requirements, and allow us to send any other communications that we may need to. Another usability feature that you're seeing here is that when I'm entering this information, note that the application is utilizing tabbing through fields. So I'm actually using the tab key on my keyboard. So you'll notice that the user is inputting their security preferences. Note that this password structure, along with the security question and this personalized answer, comply with IRS requirements for system authentication management. In this scenario, I know that John's first car is white, so I will enter that now. Lastly, the user needs to click the reCAPTCHA button to indicate human input. So now I'm moving forward to email validation. So this is where we make sure the user is using the email address that they intend to use with GovConnect Iowa. So here, the user would be sent a code to confirm before they'd be allowed to move forward. Since I am in this testing/demo environment, I am able to populate validation and security codes. So I have entered that validation code and I will move forward. Once the email address has been verified, the user will have a final chance to review the information that was input on previous screens. And once they click submit, they will receive a final confirmation number. Once the user submits this information, they can then use their email and address and password to log in. So at this point, a new login has been created. So we logged in and now we need to set up two-step verification. One important thing to know is that the department does understand the importance of customer account security. So we have chosen to use the two-step verification method to access GovConnect Iowa. You will see that it is used to better protect the GovConnect Iowa profile. So here the user would have three options to get their verification code. So the first option is that they could use an authentication app such as Google Authenticator to get the security code. They could receive the security code by text message, or they could receive the security code by email. In this scenario, I want to choose the text message option. Once two-step verification is set up, the user will be asked to provide a unique security code to verify their identity each time they log into GovConnect Iowa. And this has completed the creation of the web logon. By completing that web logon setup, this would allow the user to proceed to register a new business, request access to an existing account, or they could complete actions with our partner agencies. In this scenario, I want to register a new business, so I will click that link. Note that the initial registration is a one-time occurrence. Once you do get set up and you're connected to your accounts, all you would be required to do is log into GovConnect Iowa. So you'll notice here that we have provided a list of information necessary to complete this registration. During this step, the user will describe their business and they can use the drop-down menu to select the appropriate ownership or organization for their business. In this scenario, I want to register a corporation. You'll notice that the selected type of business ownership provided before drives the types of questions that are presented to users on later screens in this registration process. Because we selected a corporation, now we are asked to enter the name of the business on this screen. Once the business has been entered, the user will then move forward to input more business information. On this step, the user is required to enter their FEIN. If the user does not have an FEIN, they will be directed to apply for one before moving forward. If an FEIN is not available, the user will have to answer that they have applied for one before they're allowed to move forward. An action item would then be created in their GovConnect Iowa account, requiring them to supply the FEIN to IDR. In today's scenario, the user does have an FEIN, so I will enter that now. You'll notice that the entry of the FEIN is masked and it only shows the last 4 digits once it is entered. You'll also notice the help feature in the top right-hand corner shows information that may be helpful in selecting the appropriate option on GovConnect Iowa. Now we can add more information. During this step, the user is guided to input their headquarters address, and this is another example of enhanced customer service. The system will search if a partial address is entered, and it will look for the complete address. So in this step, I am going to display an incomplete address to show you how the verification process works. So you'll notice that verify address has gone away and now there is a green check mark and verifying that the address has now been verified with the United States Postal Service. Note that at any point in time, the user can save a draft and come back later to finish their registration. You'll notice that the Save Draft button is located on the bottom left corner of the screen. After entering that address, the user would then have the opportunity to provide a separate mailing address if necessary. If they clicked yes, it would display another screen asking the user to enter a different mailing address. For the sake of time, I'm going to choose no and keep going. During this step, we will be adding the primary contact. These contacts are optional and they may be updated for future accounts if they vary from this initial contact. Now we can add an officer. Note that any number of officers can be entered on this screen, but I am only going to enter one to save time. If the user needs additional information regarding confidentiality, disclosure, or authorized representation, this hyperlink would take the user to the confidentiality and disclosure statement that is available on our website. On this page, the user would select which permits are needed and they would be able to move forward. During this step, the user is asked if they sell seasonally. We want to create a permanent business, so we will answer no to this question. Based on the projected amount of sales tax that was entered by the user, the system will auto-populate the filing frequency. Moving on to the next question, since this business is not a marketplace seller, such as a seller on Amazon, eBay, or a similar business, we will answer no to this question. As seen earlier, the user does have the option to add a separate mailing address for each permit. We will keep no selected and keep going. Here, the user is prompted to enter a contact specifically regarding that sales account. In this scenario, we do not want to add an additional contact, so I will keep going. Users can enter any number of locations here, and the next several screens will walk us through the information that's necessary to add a location. In this step, the user can choose to use the headquarters address as the proposed business location. If no is selected, the user would be required to enter additional information. However, in this scenario, I will select yes. The user would then select the applicable activity at this location. By selecting yes, this would route the user through additional steps. Again, in the interest of time, I will answer no to these questions. Since this scenario involves an appliance repair service, here is where the user could click the primary activity code box, and they could search for that appropriate industry code, which is commonly referred to as a NAICS code. Here, we can search for the keyword and find our correct code. In addition, the user would be required to enter a short description about their business. Now, the user can indicate if they would like to apply for licenses with the Alcoholic Beverages Division or with Iowa Lottery. In this scenario, we will select no. Let me make sure that I selected no on both. There we go. All right, so what we can see now is that a table has been updated once the user added their location information, which indicates what types of additional licenses are going to be requested. Next, we will be required to enter the withholding information. We will choose no to add a separate mailing address for withholding mail. We will also not be adding an additional contact at this time. Now, here is where the user can review their information that was input on previous screens. Once we submit this business registration, the user would then have the opportunity to complete license applications for the partner agencies if chosen earlier in this scenario. In this case, we will not see that option and we can return to the GovConnect Iowa home screen. So you'll now see the GovConnect Iowa home screen again. When a new business registers through GovConnect Iowa, they will be able to review their business account immediately unless a manual review is required. If the user doesn't immediately see their accounts, they may need to log out and log back in. Since we do not immediately see the accounts, I will log out of GovConnect Iowa and log back in to access the full site. So when the user logs in, they will be asked to provide a unique security code each time they log into GovConnect Iowa, unless they choose Trust This Device. By selecting Trust This Device, that means that they are authenticating that the computer or device that they're using to access GovConnect Iowa is trusted. If they do select this option, the user would no longer have to receive and enter a verification code each time they log into GovConnect Iowa. What you're seeing now is the home page for logged in users, and this is the first page that you'll arrive at when you first log into GovConnect Iowa. So at a quick glance, you'll see that it shows a modern look and feel and easy to understand language to guide you through the new system. So now we can see the sales and withholding accounts that we created during the business registration application. And you'll see the subpanel, which displays a summary of the account details. Total balance amounts are clearly listed on the summary tab and will be listed in a green color if there is no tax due for this account. If there is a tax amount due, you will see that this text will change to a reddish orange color. You'll notice that the information that's displayed on the summary screen is kept to a minimum, and I will tell you that is on purpose. We only want to show you the most relevant and important information for each account here. If the user had a lot of accounts, they would be able to view them here, and then they would be able to scroll to see them all. You'll also notice that the accounts are listed alphabetically so that they're easier to locate. That's why withholding is at the bottom of the list. If the user has an action item such as unread correspondence, they need to file a return or make a payment, or they have other uncompleted items, they would be able to review those on the Action Center tab. We will come back to this tab here in a little bit. On the Settings tab, the user would get to choose their preferences for each business and the specific accounts that are tied to that business. For example, if they do not want to receive electronic notifications that mail was sent to them by the department, they could click this hyperlink and they would be able to update their preferences. You'll notice that they will also be able to add their banking information when they select this hyperlink next to the default payment channel. So this means that the user would not be required to enter their banking information each time they make a payment. So what if a taxpayer or a third party wants to complete an action? If you're thinking of the More tab, that is correct. When they click on the More tab, they would see a variety of actions that they can complete, which again are grouped by topics. For example, we could navigate to the Names and Addresses panel, and this is where we could complete tasks such as updating names and addresses, requesting a legal name change, or managing officials. You'll notice as we scroll down, we do have several other options, one of those being appeals and challenges. So this is where a user could appeal or challenge Department of Revenue actions. Under the topic headers, this is where the user would select the desired action. And once we select that desired link, here is where we would be able to enter and select details that are specific to that action. Once it is submitted, then it would be sent to the agency that is managing that action. You can also see that the user can see which step they're up to in the progress bar located at the top of the screen. You'll notice that for many of these actions, the user is able to upload supporting documentation such as a power of attorney form, receipts, or if they need to provide a proof of address. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to file a return through GovConnect Iowa. So I'm going to click on the GovConnect Iowa icon and return to the home screen. From the Summary tab, the user would locate the account for which they want to file. So I know I want to file for the sales account. I will navigate over to File, Amend, or View Returns. In this scenario, I know that Smith Fridges needs to file a quarterly return. And now you'll see that the user is presented with a list of returns that are available to file. So here the user is asked if they have any tax to report during this period. If the business had zero business activity and they need to file a return, they would select the second option. In this scenario, we do have tax to report, so I will leave this option selected. If there are any applicable schedules, the user would indicate that at this time. For this scenario, we will choose none of the above. Notice how all of those options toggled to no once I selected that option. Next, the user would enter their gross sales and goods consumed information. Notice that although I'm using whole numbers in this scenario, the user would be able to enter the actual dollar amount, breaking it down even to cents. Next, the user would enter any applicable exemptions. And I just want to point out again that wherever possible, the system is going to automatically perform calculations to reduce data entry errors and enhance your customer experience. In this next step, we are going to select yes. However, if the business had zero sales that were subject to local option sales tax, they would select no. And you see that those options did go away. Again, in this scenario, I want to select yes. So I will do so. And now you'll see that the user is able to add individual counties, or they could populate the entire county list and they could deselect which counties do not apply to their return. So if a user would like to start over, say that they populate all 99 counties and we decided, okay, we didn't have to do that. The user could exit out and they could click this clear button here. If they click that clear button, then the list would reset and you can see that add a county would be shown. So let's show you how this works. We click add a county. We will select Adair County. We are going to enter the taxable sales as $16,200. You'll notice that the corresponding local option rate is also visible on the screen. And you'll notice that the local option sales tax did automatically calculate at the bottom of this page. Let's continue. In this scenario, the filing frequency requires the tax to be paid on a monthly basis. Their total is $1,134. So let's enter in that information now. If the business did not pay all of the tax due on time, they would have the opportunity to self-assess a penalty and interest at this point, or they could opt for the department to do the calculation for them. We have included instructions on how to calculate penalty and interest. So for example here, say that we had entered in $10 and we wanted to opt for the department to calculate this instead. We would check this box and notice that those values have now returned to 0. Now the user would be able to review and then move forward. Now the user has the opportunity to either pay now or they can submit the return without payment. In this scenario, we will choose pay later. Once they click submit, the return would be marked as complete and then it would be submitted to the Iowa Department of Revenue. So now the user can see that their return was in fact submitted and they will also receive a confirmation message. Now that we have demonstrated how to file a return, let's take a look at how to make a payment. So we will click the GovConnect Iowa icon to return to the home screen. And you'll see again that logged in users do have a variety of options when it comes to making payments. They could stay on the summary tab and they could select make a payment here, or they could navigate to the Action Center. So in this scenario, we did select Action Center and we can see that now we have a balance due. So now I will select the make a payment link. You'll notice that GovConnect Iowa accepts online payments via 2 methods. They could pay with a bank account or they could pay with a credit card. In this scenario, the user wants to pay with a bank account. So here is where the user would begin entering their bank payment information on the screen. You'll notice that the default payment date is today's date, and the amount reflects the amount that was entered on the first screen. Do note that GovConnect Iowa does have validation features, such as if the user accidentally enters in $50 here when they meant to enter $500, it will populate an error code prompting them to review the information. Once I enter the correct information, you'll notice that that error message goes away. You'll see that the user does have the option to save this bank payment information for future use. I will also note that we do validate the bank account information on this page, and that is why we require double entry of the account number. Now the user can see a final summary of where the payment will be applied to, as well as where it is coming from. By entering the password, the user is providing the authorization to the department to process this payment. For those who are logged in, they are asked for their password. For those that aren't logged in and are using the quick payment option, they are asked for their email address. Entering this information that came up on this pop-up screen serves as the signature. You'll notice that there is language regarding the signature on the screen as a reminder. Now that we've completed the most common actions, let's take a look at how you can communicate with the department. So you'll notice that GovConnect Iowa does provide alerts to users for upcoming or overdue actions, such as upcoming filing dates, upcoming or overdue payments, or new unread correspondence. So to view these alerts, the user could go to the Action Center. But you'll notice that the user also has the ability to view, reply to, and send messages, or view and respond to letters that are sent by the department. So by doing those or to access those features, we would navigate to the More tab. And this is where we would locate the messages or the letters panels. So you will notice that GovConnect Iowa does allow the user to securely communicate with the department about tax accounts for which that user has authorized access. So we have shown you several new features that are available on GovConnect Iowa. Today you have seen how to create a login, register a new business, how to make a payment, how to communicate with IDR, and I want to show you what is available when it comes to profile maintenance. So for profile maintenance, the user would navigate to manage my profile. And when they click that link, you will see that now they have the option to update their name, their email address, edit their phone number, and you'll also see that they can update their security settings. So they could change their password, update their security question, or change their two-step verification settings. When it comes to third-party access, I will tell you that the department will be hosting a webinar series in the upcoming months that will include important details regarding third-party access. Registration for that webinar series will be available on the website and through the updates. I will tell you that this concludes the end of the GovConnect Iowa demo, and I will pass it back to Terry here to share information about how you can subscribe to updates and how to contact us with feedback or questions regarding GovConnect Iowa. So Terry, I will go ahead and share my screen here, and you can take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jerica, for the information you provided. Just to keep everybody in the loop on the GovConnect Iowa portal, Jerica shared a lot of information with you today, and you probably have questions and you want more information on it. Please stay tuned to our website. We're going to put more information out there in the very near future. This is also a good time to remember to subscribe to our updates. These are our email updates through the Gov delivery system. And to do this, you subscribe from our homepage. This is a shot of our of the bottom of the homepage, which is tax.iowa.gov. And if you click on the button down at the bottom, subscribe to updates, it'll give you a list of the different topics that you can subscribe to. One that you'll notice on there is the GovConnect Iowa. That's a good place to stay informed for information related to this new system. So please subscribe if you don't already do so. Good way to stay in touch with us. If you have some other questions or you want more information, we appreciate your patience on this. This is a new system for us as well as you. More information about GovConnect Iowa, how to use it, its features, this will be posted on our website again at tax.iowa.gov in the upcoming weeks. Make sure to subscribe to these updates, and then you'll be notified when there's information posted on our website. If you have questions in the meantime, though, you can submit them to our website, and we've got a link on here, the tax.iowa.gov email options. If you were to get into that URL, there is a place on there to email questions about GovConnect Iowa. We'll do our best to answer these questions that are received through how-to information and self-help articles that'll be available when GovConnect goes live. Again, it's going to go live here. It's scheduled to on November the 15th, so it's coming up here pretty soon. If there's any questions, just watch the website and reach out to us at this URL that we have up here on the screen right now. If you have any questions or other feedback or anything, please feel free to let us know. And I wanted to just see if Emily has anything that she wants to add to today's presentation.
Yeah, I've got a couple that I'll jump in with here. We did get a lot of questions about future dating or warehousing payments in the current e-file and pay system. The functionality for that was removed from e-file and pay, and that is a system change. That will be how e-file and pay works from now on. But good news, in GovConnect Iowa, we will have the ability to future date those payments again. So once we go live on November 15th, that's one great reason to go ahead and switch over to that system. We also had a lot of questions about how to access third-party accounts or CPA firms, things like that. We're working on putting some guidance together for that, and it will be posted on the website when we go live. So make sure that you stay tuned for that information. And there was one more that I was going to look at. One moment, please. Oh, we had a question if passwords are going to expire every 60 days in this new system. And I wanted to let you know I have amazing news. Passwords will be good for 18 months in GovConnect Iowa. So you won't have to change it every time you log in to do your quarterly returns. So that is super exciting for us. But I think that's all I had.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Emily, for the information that you provided. Were there any questions that we wanted to answer here live? I know we've got quite a few questions that have come in. Is that something that we wish to do? I know Emily, what she just mentioned, that probably took care of quite a few of the questions. But is there any other ones that are outstanding there that we want to take a look at?
One would just be if we can address just as you're going through this transition period, how long will the current system be able to be used? And is there any insight onto that timeline of how things are going to progress forward?
So e-file and pay will still be available for sales, use, and withholding, filing, and payments through February 4th. So you've got a couple of months before we have to transition into the new system. You can continue to file returns and make payments like you normally do. The only change is that you can't future date those payments right now. It looks like we had a couple of questions about the bank filter number. Yes, GovConnect Iowa will have a new bank filter number. We will get that posted to the website as soon as the system is live so that you can accommodate that when you're making payments as well.
Emily, just in general, we had questions regarding the W-2 and 1099 submissions.
Yes.
Do you have any basic information on that for our listeners here today?
Yep, W-2 and 1099s for tax year 2021 will be filed using GovConnect Iowa. We're working on finalizing those details and file specs and all of that stuff right now, and we'll get it posted to the website as soon as we have it. But that should be relatively soon. So I would highly encourage everyone to subscribe to updates like Terry shared earlier, so that as soon as that information is posted to the website, you get an email notifying you that that is there for you.
And I would also say to stay tuned for future webinars. We are
Definitely.
we are answering your questions. We will have webinars and information available on our website addressing your questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone that has been here today. Lots of questions that we weren't going to be able to get to today. The whole Q&A is going to be sent over to the panelists from IDR that they can use to help put together some of that guidance and some of the FAQ types of pieces. Jericho, you did a great job demoing through it and how to use it, a lot of those basics. And I thought that was really helpful and help people know what to expect. This whole thing was recorded, so as you're getting to, okay, so now what do I do as you're going through these steps? You will be able to revisit this video and follow along with Jericho when the time comes to be able to get your information, everything input and up there. So this wasn't meant to be the end all be all of all of the GovConnect Iowa information, just a first taste of that demo of how it's going to look. All the other questions that you have, and they're going to, continue to come up, will be answered either through a series of other webinars or FAQ information on the website. So Emily, Terry, Jericho, great job. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. We do still have our regular webinar series that's going to be going out through the rest of the year. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be having a webinar on common income tax issues for year 2021. That link to register is right there in the chat box in the webinar. So you can come back and check that one out with us. And then in December, we'll be doing probably similar related to this one. Right now it's scheduled to be electronic submission of W-2s and 1099s. So that'll be a good topic for you to be able to check out as well. So with that, any final thoughts, Terry or Emily?
I think we have covered it all. That webinar on the 8th that Patrick just mentioned will cover how to file W-2 and 1099s in GovConnect Iowa. So I would definitely encourage registering for that one.
Okay, just again, we appreciate everyone's patience. Please stay tuned, watch our website, subscribe to updates. We'll get information out to you as quick as we can. This is going to be a exciting change for the department. I think once we all get going at it, I think it's going to be a very positive experience for everybody. So thank you very much for attending today, and we'll be in touch again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Everyone that did attend, you will get a follow-up email that will come with the recording and a link to sign up to those future webinars. If there are people that weren't able to be with us today, you can definitely share that with them for them to attend. So on behalf of University of Northern Iowa, Iowa Economic Development Authority, and Iowa SourceLink, thank you for being here with us, and we hope to see you again in a webinar sometime in the future.